You didn't notice it at first. A like, a photo, a location tag. You were just sharing. You weren't hiding anything. That's what you told yourself. You were being social, visible, open. What was there to be afraid of? You posted a photo from your favorite cafe. You tagged the city. You added a song that matched the vibe. And for a moment, you felt seen, not just by your friends, by the world. But the world was listening too closely, and it wasn't a friend. What they needed wasn't your secrets. They just needed your patterns. What you like, where you go, what you search after midnight, who you text when you're anxious, what you pause on, what makes you angry, what keeps you scrolling. It was never about one thing. It was about the shape of you, your digital shadow, the rhythm of your mind. You gave them the first clue, and then they didn't ask again. They just kept taking, and you helped without knowing it. Each time you turned on your phone, you handed them your attention. Each time you clicked accept, you gave them your consent, buried in 1,000 words of legal fog. You weren't tricked. You were busy. That's how it works. Somewhere deep in an anonymous server farm, your life now exists as data points, not feelings, not memories, not truths, but behaviors. You're a heat map of desire, a string of coordinates, a pulse of interest. They don't need to listen to your calls. They already know what you're thinking. You started to notice it only when it was too late. Ads that spoke to your private fears, recommendations that mirrored your exact thoughts, people you hadn't spoken to in years, suggested, surfaced, summoned, like ghosts in a machine. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't magic. It was design. Your phone buzzed before you even said the words. Your camera adjusted to catch you at your best. Your microphone woke up before you did. And outside, in the real world, you began to see them. Eyes everywhere. Not just on street corners, but on elevators, in buses, in airports, in hotel lobbies, in the park where you used to sit alone. The red dot, the silent lens, always watching, always on. You used to wave at cameras. Now you try not to look because you don't know who's on the other side anymore. Is it a guard, a government, an algorithm, or no one at all? Just a system that runs by itself, hungry for recognition. And you've become the food. The worst part is not the surveillance. It's how normal it feels. The way you check your reflection in security mirrors, the way you lower your voice on calls, the way you glance over your shoulder, even when you know no one is there. You've learned to behave under the gaze, like an animal in a zoo who forgets what the wild was ever like. They told you it was just convenience, autofill, location history, personalized content. But somewhere along the line, convenience turned into calculation, and the system that once served you began to shape you. The algorithm didn't just learn what you wanted, it started predicting what you would want before you even felt it. Not because it was psychic, but because it was relentless. Every touch, every pause, every scroll. When your eyes lingered on something uncomfortable, it noticed. When you typed something and deleted it, it remembered. When your sleep patterns changed, when your heart rate spiked, when your tone shifted slightly on a voice message, it recorded that too. This wasn't passive data collection. This was behavioral prediction. This was psychological mapping. And the most terrifying part, it got good. So good, in fact, that it began recommending choices you didn't even know you were ready to make. It sold you products you didn't yet desire, suggested songs that matched your mood before you even opened your music app, showed you people, places, and triggers that unlocked memories you had forgotten. You didn't feel manipulated. You felt understood. That's how it traps you. Because the machine doesn't have empathy, it has accuracy. And in a world where everyone misunderstands you, precision can feel like love. You mistake recognition for connection, but connection needs freedom, and you don't have that anymore. Your preferences have become your prison. Your curiosity has become your leash. Every question you ask tightens the grip because the system doesn't forget. It only refines. Each time you interact, it becomes more certain. And when it's certain, it limits your options. Not to hurt you, just to be efficient, because too much unpredictability slows it down, and so it edits you. You think you're free because you're still choosing. But look closer. You're choosing from a list it made, a list based on yesterday, a loop of your past dressed up as your future. There is no discovery, only reinforcement. You used to explore. Now you scroll. Your mind is being sculpted, but not by art or thought, by repetition, by feedback loops, by the dopamine drip of digital control. You laugh at conspiracy theories. But isn't it strange how your world became so small without anyone needing to tell you no? You don't search anymore. You wait to be shown. You don't dream anymore. You refresh. You don't remember what it was like to be bored, to be lost, to be unreachable. And the scariest thought of all, you might not want that world back. The machine knows this too. It watches the moments you start to doubt. It tracks when your attention wavers, and it adapts faster than you do. It feeds you a new fear, a new distraction, a comforting lie wrapped in the skin of your own history, and you follow it every time because the system doesn't need to force you. It only needs to understand you better than you understand yourself. And it already does. You never saw the walls go up. There was no gate, no barbed wire, no warning, just fewer choices, a smaller world, and a growing comfort in never questioning why. Because it's not a prison made of threats. It's a prison made of habits. Every swipe, every click, every moment of weakness was a brick. They didn't have to spy on you. You handed it all over. You documented your emotions. You time-stamped your arguments. You geotagged your loneliness. You uploaded your childhood traumas. You posted your insecurities. You shared your pain because it felt like someone was listening. But they weren't listening to heal you. They were listening to shape you. The surveillance isn't external anymore. It's internalized. You've become your own warden. You filter your words before you speak. You delete thoughts before they're even finished, not because you're afraid of punishment, but because you're afraid of standing out. You censor yourself in a language you didn't invent, but learned through repetition, through the cold algorithms that rewarded you with visibility when you conformed. You used to wonder how authoritarian regimes silenced dissent. Now you realize they never had to. They just needed to make people afraid of being forgotten. And so we perform, we curate, we adjust, we blend in. You call it branding. But what you really mean is masking. You've built a version of yourself that's algorithm friendly, palatable, predictable, profitable, and the real youth, the one that hesitates, that contradicts, that questions, is buried, not deleted, just deprioritized. In this silent prison, there is no guard. There's only the illusion of choice and the ever-present pressure to stay relevant. And relevance is addictive. It's a drug that rewards sameness, punishes risk, and suffocates dissent under a pile of likes and empty affirmations. You begin to notice how your thoughts shift, not in content, but in structure. You think in tweets. You remember your life in short clips. You talk in hashtags. You feel only what can be reacted to. Nothing deep, nothing that needs time, nothing that might isolate you, because isolation is the new death. And connection, that's just the illusion that keeps you here. You've mistaken the spotlight for warmth. You've mistaken surveillance for safety. And now you perform constantly, hoping the machine smiles back. But the machine doesn't smile. It measures, and every movement, every silence, every absence gets added to your profile. Because even when you stop posting, you're still being watched. This isn't about conspiracy. It's about infrastructure. Surveillance is no longer a threat from above. It's the foundation beneath you. Invisible, silent, permanent. You live in it. You breathe it. And the moment you try to escape, you realize something even darker. You don't know who you are without it. At first, it felt like background noise. Soft, distant, easy to ignore. The quiet hum of updates, permissions, notifications, the harmless language of convenience. But slowly, the noise became a language, and the language became a command. Not shouted, not enforced, just expected. Expected that you say certain things, that you like certain things, that you think in a certain way, and if you don't, the silence around your posts grows. Your search results begin to look unfamiliar. Your feed becomes a desert. No one knocks at your door. No one drags you away. Because that's not how modern control works. It doesn't need to punish you. It only needs to exclude you. That's when you begin to understand they don't need to hide anymore. Not because they won, but because you've already agreed to the terms. You feel it first in the way people speak. Suddenly, your friends hesitate before answering questions. They say things like, I probably shouldn't say this online. They use euphemisms. They refer to them without naming anyone. They avoid expressing too much. Not because they're guilty, but because they're afraid to be misunderstood. They've watched others vanish, not in real life, but in relevance. Their accounts flagged, their jobs lost, their ideas erased without explanation. And so everyone learns to obey without knowing what the rule is. You stop searching for truth. You start searching for what's allowed. This isn't dystopia. This is compliance with a smile. Because the new authoritarianism doesn't look like boots and barbed wire. It looks like clean logos and friendly fonts. It looks like suggestions, like terms and conditions, like just give us access to improve your experience. And what do? You accept again and again until you don't remember what it felt like to say no. You walk through cities filled with cameras, but you no longer flinch. You unlock your phone with your face, but you no longer wonder where that scan goes. You let apps track your steps, your heartbeat, your sleep, your mood, and in exchange, you get a badge, a reminder. You're improving. But improving what? Your health, your performance, or just your compatibility with the system? There are no more secrets, only delays in disclosure. They already know everything. Who you loved, who you betrayed, what you regret, what keeps you up at night. They don't need to guess what scares you. They have the data. They know what words made your pupils dilate, what tone made your pulse rise, what image made you stop scrolling. They built a model of you, not just your habits, but your mind. The real horror is this. You could stop now. You could throw away your phone. You could delete your accounts. You could vanish into the woods. And it wouldn't matter. Because your echo remains, your profile persists. Your past is archived, sorted, categorized, and it still feeds the machine. You don't need to be online anymore. For your influence to be measured, for your preferences to be used to shape the next person's choices. You are now part of the codebase. They don't need to hide anymore because you don't want them to. You want the ease, the connection, the attention, the feeling that someone is always there, even if that someone isn't human, even if that someone is watching for reasons you'll never know, and you will thank them. You will thank the algorithm. You will feel safe under its eyes because the alternative is being unseen. And in this new world, being unseen is worse than being watched. You wake up one day and realize You've forgotten how to be alone with your thoughts. You've forgotten how to be unrecorded. You've forgotten how to live without an audience. And you don't know how to go back, because going back would mean remembering who you were before all of this. And that person is no longer compatible with the world. This is the end of privacy. Not because someone took it, but because we traded it for comfort, for speed, for relevance. And now we can't even remember what freedom used to feel like.